Have you ever stopped to think about just how much of your life now, happens in this kind of invisible digital space? You know, from your phone recognizing your face first thing to tapping to pay for coffee, even just getting basic services online. Our interactions, they're increasingly filtered through these tech layers we barely notice. It's a huge shift, subtle maybe, but really profound in how we navigate the world. And it's speeding up. Here on The Deep Dive, that's what we do. We try to unpack these complex, often hidden forces shaping things and find the most important pieces.
And today, we're diving into something really fundamental to this whole digital shift. Incredibly fast global spread of digital identity systems. This isn't just, scanning your driver's license anymore. We're talking a major paradigm shift. It's redefining how you prove who you are, how you access government services, how you even cross borders. It's huge, really. Offers amazing convenience, efficiency, but it also brings up some pretty big questions about privacy, security, and frankly, fairness.
Yeah. Okay, let's try and unpack that. Starting with the foundation, something called digital public infrastructure, or DPI. Now, this isn't just about having internet access, right? It's more fundamental.
Exactly. It's much more than just connectivity. Think of DPI as the core building blocks, the kind of societal level plumbing needed for digital services to work well for everyone. The World Bank actually pictures it quite well, like a central hub for your digital life. Connects you to shopping, banking, healthcare, education, everything.
Right, like this middle layer between the physical world and all those apps we use.
Precisely. And at its core, DPI usually involves three main things: a solid digital ID system, easy digital payments, and ways for data to be shared efficiently and securely. And what's really striking is just how quickly countries everywhere are rolling these out, often in slightly different ways, tailored to their own needs.
Can you give us some examples? Because it sounds like there's a lot of variety in how this is being done.
Oh, definitely. Take Rwanda. They're not just tweaking their system. They're investing heavily to completely replace physical ID cards with digital ones within, I think, 3 years. The idea is to make digital ID the absolute foundation for accessing all key public services: healthcare, education, financial help. It's a massive shift in how citizens interact with the state.
Wow, replacing physical IDs entirely. That's ambitious.
It is. Then you look at China. They have this blockchain-based solution called RealDID running on their national blockchain network, the BSN. It's focused on decentralized identity. And interestingly, it's being extended to Hong Kong, so Chinese residents can use it to access digital services there. Shows that cross-border aspect within their sphere.
And India comes to mind immediately, just given the sheer scale of what they've done. How does Aadhaar fit in?
India's Aadhaar and the whole India stack built around it. It's often seen as a real pioneer. It created these layers, they call them presenceless, paperless, cashless for transactions. It's given millions access to services they couldn't easily reach before. Really shows how DPI can kickstart a whole digital economy.
So it's not just developing nations then. What about Europe?
Absolutely not. France, for example, launched France Connect back in 2016.
Yeah.
It's a federated system, meaning you can use different providers to log in. Now it has something like 43 million users accessing over 1,500 public services. That's 330 million transactions a year. It's built on open standards like OpenID Connect, and it plugs into the EU's wider IDAS framework.
IDAS?
Yeah, that's the EU's legal and technical system for secure electronic ID and trust services across all member countries. So France Connect works within that bigger European picture, shows a more collaborative, continent-wide approach.
Okay, so the key isn't just having the ID, but making it work smoothly across tons of services, maybe even across borders like in the EU. That interoperability seems crucial.
It's absolutely essential. Look at the Maldives, too, with their eFi system. Started based on the physical ID card, but evolved into a smartphone app. Gives people online access to hundreds of services, acts as a digital wallet for driving licenses, vaccine records, you name it. Usage just exploded during COVID-19. Quadrupled, I think, from about 28,000 users in 2019 to almost 100,000 by 2021. Really highlights how essential these became in a crisis. And Ethiopia is another one, using an open source platform called MOSIP for their FATA system. They've registered over 3 million people. MOSIP is designed specifically to help countries build these systems inclusively. It allows digital ID equivalents to work securely on partner apps. And all this often relies on a core idea called the once-only principle.
Once only sounds efficient. What's that mean for, an average person?
Basically, you provide your information, say, your address just once to the government. And then, with your permission, different agencies can securely reuse that information when needed. You don't have to fill out the same details on multiple forms for different services. Estonia's X-Roads, Singapore's Apex, Uganda's Ujaba. They're all platforms built around this idea. Saves time, reduces errors. And, this whole DPI push is also massively boosting financial inclusion. We saw mobile money accounts in low-income countries actually overtake traditional bank accounts in 2021.
Really?
Yeah, 26% using mobile money versus 25% with a traditional financial institution account. It's a huge shift, especially where banks are scarce.
Okay, that paints a clear picture of how digital ID is changing things within countries. But what happens when you need to travel? How is this affecting international borders, passports?
That's the next big frontier, and it's moving fast. We're seeing a definite trend towards digital passports and electronic travel authorizations, or ETAs. Countries like the UK, the entire EU bloc, Thailand, Israel, South Africa's planning for it by 2029. It's a global move towards making border crossings digital, smoother, and more secure.
And what's the technology making this possible? How do they ensure these digital documents are secure?
Biometrics. That's the core. Sophisticated facial recognition, fingerprints, maybe iris scans, things that are unique to you and much, much harder to fake or steal than a physical booklet. The benefits are pretty clear for both travelers and governments.
Like what? Faster lines at the airport?
Definitely faster lines, increased efficiency, more convenience. Think expedited security checks, smoother journeys overall. But for governments, it's also about enhanced security. You get strong encryption, digital signatures verifying the document's authenticity, better identity verification, plus fewer physical touch points, which became obviously important during the pandemic, and easier updates, like online renewals, maybe less paper waste too.
So convenience plus a security upgrade. I think I heard something about a DTC triad for security. Can you break that down? How are these digital travel credentials actually kept safe?
Yeah, the Digital Travel Credential, or DTC, typically uses a three-part security structure, the triad. First, there's the mobile part, stored securely on your phone or device. Second, a central, highly secure cloud platform holding the verified identity data. And third, the border control component, which lets the authorities securely check your credential when you arrive. It's this layered approach.
Okay.
Aruba actually implemented a system like this, using SETA's TTC, which follows the international standards set by ICAO, that's the International Civil Aviation Organization. The results were pretty stunning. Average border crossing time dropped to just 8 seconds, and errors in visitor data basically vanished. Shows the real-world impact.
8 seconds, that's incredible. But with all this power and reach, it sounds amazing, but it also feels like there must be risks, right? A double-edged sword.
That's a very good way to put it. The benefits are undeniable, and the World Bank data backs this up. IT services globally grew 8% a year from 2000 to 2022, nearly double the global economy's growth. IT jobs grew even faster, 6 times the rate of total employment growth. That's a huge economic shift.
Right.
Connectivity exploded to 1.5 billion new internet users just between 2018 and 2022. And during the pandemic, businesses that were more digitally ready were way more resilient. Investment in digital tools basically doubled for small firms, tripled for large ones. It was a lifeline.
So digitalization wasn't just convenient, it actually helped businesses survive a crisis.
Exactly. And look at public services.
Yeah.
Countries with DPI already in place, they reached 3 times more people with emergency cash aid during COVID. And AI is playing a role too. You see it in healthcare, like in Mexico helping manage diabetes, or in Africa optimizing energy for off-grid homes. Togo used AI to target social aid better, reducing errors significantly.
Okay, the benefits are clear, powerful even. But where do the challenges and the risks start creeping in? What are the downsides for people, for society?
Well, the biggest and maybe most fundamental challenge is the digital divide. Despite all this progress, the gap is widening. In 2022, think about this. Only 1 in 4 people in low-income countries use the internet. Compare that to over 90% in high-income countries. And it's not just individuals. Half the businesses in some poorer countries like Bangladesh, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia don't even have an internet connection. This isn't just an inconvenience. It actively makes poverty worse and widens the productivity gap.
That's sobering. Even as we discuss these advanced systems, huge parts of the world lack the basic entry ticket. What about privacy and security for those who are connected?
Huge concerns there. Cheap data storage plus powerful AI means companies and maybe governments can build incredibly detailed profiles about you. Think personalized pricing pushed to the extreme, potentially reducing your choices in privacy. And cybersecurity risks just get bigger. Centralized data means leaks are more damaging. Complex AI can hide security flaws, but AI can also create new threats, super realistic phishing, targeted malware, deepfakes that might even fool biometric systems eventually. And a really practical point for you listening. Be careful about storing unofficial copies of digital IDs or passport scans on your phone or computer. Malware called info stealers specifically looks for that stuff. Could lead straight to identity theft.
That's a vital warning. So be mindful of where you keep digital copies. Beyond direct theft, what about the algorithms making decisions? Can they be biased?
Unfortunately, yes. Algorithmic bias is a major risk. If the AI is trained on data that's skewed or incomplete, it can make discriminatory decisions. We've seen examples like recruitment algorithms seeming to favor men, or healthcare algorithms giving lower risk scores to poorer patients even with similar conditions, just because the historical data reflected those biases. Then there's copyright. AI models are trained on vast amounts of web data, often without clear permission, raising infringement issues. And conversely, can AI-generated content even be copyrighted if there's no clear human author? It's murky legal territory.
And zooming out again, the really big picture, how could this affect inequality between countries?
That's a profound worry. AI and digitalization could seriously widen the gap between rich and poor nations. The productivity boost might mostly happen in the superstar countries developing the tech. This could erode the advantages lower-income countries might have, like cheaper labor. Some worry it could even reverse the trend of living standards converging globally. It's something policymakers are grappling with.
So, given all this potential and all these risks, where is it all headed? What's the future look like for these systems?
Well, expect much wider adoption, definitely for digital passports. The trend is clear. International cooperation will be key, making sure these systems work together across borders. Organizations like ICAO are crucial for setting those global standards for security and interoperability. We'll also see more integration. Your digital passport might eventually merge with your visa, vaccine records, boarding pass, everything you need for travel in one secure digital credential.
Like a single secure travel wallet on your phone. What about keeping it secure as tech evolves? Quantum computing, for instance.
Security has to evolve too. Future systems will need to be quantum resistant, meaning they can withstand attacks from future quantum computers that could break today's encryption. And we'll see more AI used in security itself for better identity checks, for spotting fraud attempts faster and more accurately. Policies racing to keep up too. Countries everywhere, Egypt, India, Rwanda, South Africa, the African Union as a whole, are developing national AI strategies. They're focusing on building the infrastructure, yes, but also on skills training and figuring out how to adopt AI responsibly. A big focus is trying to make AI augment human labor, help people do their jobs better, rather than just replace jobs wholesale, and using it to improve social safety nets.
What a fascinating and slightly overwhelming journey we've taken. Looking at how digital identity is developing, the sheer scope, the speed, it's clear these systems are fundamentally changing how we prove who we are, access services, how we move around the world.
It really is. And this journey into a fully digitized identity is, well, it's still just beginning, really. As these systems weave themselves deeper into our daily lives, the critical question for you, for all of us, becomes, how do we make sure this incredibly powerful transformation actually benefits everyone? How do we maximize the good stuff while actively, carefully guarding against the risks, the divides, the unintended consequences? That's the balance we need to find as this digital future keeps unfolding.
Before the world sees it coming, the system will already be in place. Not with chains and swords, but with apps, scans, and signatures. What looks like progress may be the final platform for control. Revelation chapter 13 warned us. A day will come when no man can buy or sell, save he that has the mark. This is the Last Transmission podcast. I'm your host, sounding the alarm while the signal still gets through. Stay awake, stay ready, stay unmarked. Transmission ended.